Dr. John back with another edition of A Better You in a Minute or Two. And today's episode is entitled Meta 3 Q&A, the third in our three-part series of the benefits and power of meditation in your life. And as I mentioned last time, and the title sort of suggests, I'm going to address your comments and answer your questions. And my incredible thanks to everyone who wrote in with comments and asked questions, and congratulations to those of you who have already been working with a meditative practice since we started this series, and you're reporting that you're feeling great. I'm going to just jump right in, but before I do, a quick reminder that if you do send a question, if you call me or email me or text me and you want to talk about something, I know sometimes these things are personal, it's always kept in strictest confidence. So please don't ever be shy about that. I'm going to be using some names today, but it's with the people's permission, and it's only their first name and their hometown. So remember, all correspondence is always kept in strictest confidence. Now, Jennifer from Stockton, California writes, is it really that powerful? And Jennifer, in 2 words, no. In 1 word, yes. In 3 words, yes it is. I'll remind you that it's been in use for 7,000 years by people all over the globe, and there's got to be a reason for that. And if you remember the riddle that I read at the beginning of, I think it was episode 21, 2 episodes ago, I asked, what reduces stress, lowers blood pressure and cortisol levels, our stress chemicals, reduces anxiety and depression, helps decrease migraine headaches, helps control PMS, helps manage chronic pain, can reduce substance abuse, can help relieve PTSD, helps increase cognitive function, our ability to think and reason, decreases aging by slowing the aging process down, and is absolutely free. Now, all of those attributes of meditation have been scientifically studied and proven. So think of it, 7,000 years, it does all these things and more, and it's free. So yes, it is that powerful. It really, truly is. Tina in San Diego, California wrote, do I need a mantra and what is it? That's a great question. Well, Tina, if you remember the requirements for meditation, a quiet place, relaxation, doesn't even have to be a quiet place, but in the beginning it does. Quiet place, relaxation, and we need a trigger. A trigger is a mechanism that helps our mind shift from the noisy, staticky, everyday world of consciousness to that much more serene, peaceful, and focused state of mind we call meditative. And the mechanism can be an internal or an external mechanism. External mechanisms are things like gongs or bells or chimes or soft music or staring at a candle or a leaf. Internal triggers are things like a mantra, which is a word or phrase repeated over and over again, either out loud or silently, or the breath, which is my favorite trigger, because as John Kabat-Zinn says, wherever you go, there you are, and wherever you go, there you are with your breath. So I always have my trigger with me wherever I am, and I never need to have to worry about one of those other things. But a mantra is required for certain kinds of meditation, like transcendental meditation requires a mantra. Some of the medical meditations that I talked about last time that incorporate yogic concepts and techniques with meditation, some of those require a mantra. But it's not required for all kinds of meditation for everyday purposes. Again, my favorite is just the breath because it's simple, it's powerful, and I always have it with me. Great question, though, and thanks for writing in, Tina. George from LA, Los Angeles. How long does it take every day and how long does it take to get good? Well, George, you can take as little as 5 minutes a day and you'll get some benefit from it. Most meditative teachers and masters recommend 15 to 20 minutes a day, once or twice a day. That's sort of optimum. But some days you may want to meditate for an hour or a half hour, and some days you may meditate for 10 minutes. The key is not so much how long, although generally speaking, the longer you do it, the greater the benefits up to a point. The key is consistency, because if you don't do it consistently, it cannot have its effect. It's a cumulative effect, and that only happens with consistency. But I can tell you that I work with people from 7 to 85, and every single client that I work with gets meditative exercises right after the first session. And by the time they come in for their second session, which is usually a week, almost everybody, 99% of the people I work with say, I love that exercise. I feel so good. So it doesn't take long at all for it to work, but you have to be consistent. Thank you so much for writing in. Linda from New York City. I get so distracted my mind wanders I can't do it. Well, Linda, first of all, everybody's mind gets distracted when they do meditation. I've been meditating for 25 years and I still get distracted. And what that tells me, if your mind is that distracted, if it's wandering so quickly, so powerfully, what that tells me is that you need it even more than other people, because that's not a good way to live long term. So the key here is to remember not to keep score. You're not trying to be good at it. If your mind gets distracted, it gets distracted, and it will. If you remember last session, let the thought come in, acknowledge it's there, because it is, and then let it go. Let it come in, acknowledge it's there, and just let it go. And if you're diligent, it won't take very long for the thoughts to slow down in number and in duration, and pretty soon you'll feel that beautiful quiet. So please stay with it. Don't keep score. Don't judge yourself. Don't get down on yourself. It's really going to be powerful for you if you stay the course and get through that little barrier in the beginning. Michaela from Denver asked, should I teach my kids how to do it? Yes, absolutely. Don't force them to do it, but if they see you doing it, they're very likely to be curious. And it's never really too young to teach a child how to meditate, although much before 6 or 7, they usually can't concentrate long enough to actually get into that state. But even if they're going through the motions at 4 or 5, who cares? As I mentioned before, I work with kids as young as 7, and most of them do quite well with meditation. And if you want to see how powerful meditation is for kids, do this Google search. You can see it on your screen right now. Meditation and kids, no detention. Meditation and kids, no detention. Do that Google search. You will be blown away. Blown away, I promise you. Okay, Rebecca from San Francisco says, I read in your book that you like to use hypnosis and meditation together. Why do they work so well? Thank you, Rebecca, for reading my book. You made my day. The reason meditation and hypnosis work so well is that they create very similar states of mind, but affect different parts of the brain. Hypnosis is a very powerful tool for creating change around a specific area quickly, like a fear or a phobia or a habit, an emotional pattern, a limiting belief, anxiety or stress. Hypnosis is a great tool for facilitating that change quickly. Then meditation is a marvelous tool for maintaining that state of being systemically for a long period of time. So we have 2 great tools. 1, to make the change happen, and 2, to maintain it over a long period of time. They are like cousins, and that is why they are the cornerstones of my synthesis process. So once again, Rebecca, thanks for reading the book. I hope you'll pass it around, and thanks for your question. It was great. Robert from Austin, Texas. I tend to fall asleep. How do I fix that? Well, Robert, everybody falls asleep once in a while when they meditate, but if it's happening consistently, and by the way, if you do fall asleep during a meditation, it just means you needed a nap, so enjoy the rest. But if you're having a problem with this consistently, what I would recommend is that you change times of day. Try to find a time of day when you haven't eaten a big meal, or you haven't just finished a huge meeting at work, where you're awake and you're aware and there's not a lot going on. I prefer early morning myself, because once my day takes off, it's really hard for me to slow it down until the evening, and then I would tend to fall asleep. So I do it right after I get up, do a little stretching, get some air in my lungs, do my meditation. It's very unlikely I'll fall asleep. But if you do fall asleep, it just means you needed a little nap. I think you'll find that if you just find the right time of day, you'll be great. Anthony from Boston, Massachusetts. Why does it work? Whoa, great question, Anthony, and that would take way more time than I have to explain right now. But my wife, life coach McGrail, gave me a great metaphor to use, so with her permission, I'm going to do that. You know those things called snow globes? I was going to get some, but I forgot. They're these little sort of clear things, and they have a little scene in them. This has a little heart. This isn't a snow globe. There's no snow in it. And they have snow in it, and when you shake them up, it snows, and you have this little winter wonderland over Santa Claus's workshop, or ice skaters on a pond, or whatever it is. Well, if you took 2 of those, and you shook one up, and the snow starts flying, you see it's kind of hard to see in there. It gets a little blurry and fuzzy. It's not real clear. That's our mind during normal conscious awareness. And if you took the other snow globe and you didn't shake it up, you can see how calm and clear and serene it is. You can see those little ice skaters or Santa's elves or whatever it is. And that is what meditation does for the mind. So that's an easy way of demonstrating how it works. So thank you, Anthony, and thank you, Lenan, sweetheart. I appreciate that. And the last question today, Victoria from Los Angeles. There are so many kinds of meditation. Which one's the best? Well, there is no best. There are different kinds of meditation, different techniques, and some of them accomplish different things. So if you go back to our last episode where I explained that, and just kind of review that part. But for instance, dynamic meditation is great when you're in the process of change or growth, or you have to make a choice or a decision. Dynamic meditation helps you create the state of mind you want, which programs your subconscious computer for creating it. Native American meditation, my other favorite, helps you connect to our Mother Earth, to the perfect energy of nature and balance. And it creates great clarity, and it really helps you sort of wash yourself of the stains of living in modern civilization. There's a whole new fad out there called forest bathing, and essentially what it is people are going out and they're doing some Native American meditation. Transcendental meditation creates great clarity and peace. So there is no best. Once you get into a consistent practice, and remember, that is the key, consistency, then you can experiment a little bit. Maybe you try some TM. And I highly recommend Native American meditation and dynamic meditation. Those are my two favorites. And of course, Zen meditation, a wonderful, delightful exercise in futility. Because if you're like most people, as soon as you get that perfect clarity in your mind, there's no thought. You go, oh, I did it. Now you're thinking. But it's fun to do. There is no best. What is important is that you incorporate it into your life. Make it as important as eating or exercising or drinking water. And if you do, you will find that not only will you be glad you did, your life is going to work an awful lot better. So until next time, thank you all again for your comments and questions. If you have more, or if you didn't have your question answered today, write me. I'll answer you personally. These are just the ones that represented the majority of them. I will always get back to you personally. And remember, every choice you make sure, if you can, it's all about a better you. See ya.